Metropolitan Life made a fortune selling insurance to immigrant wage workers who had much to lose if they were injured or died on the job. Located at 1 Madison Avenue, the marble-covered Metropolitan Life Insurance Building was designed by the firm Napoleon LeBrun and Sons to rival the other impressive skyscrapers of the time. Modeled after the St. Mark's Campanile in Venice, it was built in 1909 and served as the world headquarters of the company until 2005. The design was a standard tripartite form inspired by Sullivan's language, but exuded classical and Renaissance influences through a pyramidal tower topped by a cupola. It was the tallest building in the world until the Woolworth Building was completed in 1913. The Woolworth Building was designed by Gilbert Cass and became the tallest building in the world at 792 feet tall until 1930. Retail magnate Frank Woolworth owned more than 600 five and dime stores and wanted a building that would not only bring in rental income, but serve as a giant billboard for his company's success. Designed with a neo-Gothic influence, this enormous structure was dubbed the Cathedral of Commerce. Even today, the Woolworth Building remains one of the 50 tallest buildings in the United States. Much to the delight of the public and the critics, the interior of the building also reflected Gothic cathedral design. The symmetrical cruciform lobby was decorated with early Christian-inspired barrel vault mosaics, a stained glass skylight, marble walls, bronze furnishings, and plaster grotesques, even including one of Mr. Woolworth counting coins and Gilbert Cass holding a model of the building. While the basement and lower floors took up an entire city block, the upper levels stepped back from the street, allowing light to filter down to the streets below. Its form became a precedent for the 1916 zoning law regulating the massing of skyscrapers, influencing the design of tall buildings constructed in the 1920s and beyond. Designed by Craig Severance, the 40 Wall Street building was the tallest building in the world for just a few months. Working to beat the height of the Woolworth Building, Severance began a competition with another skyscraper project at the time. His former partner had been hired to design the headquarters for Chrysler Automobiles, and they raced for the honor of building the tallest structure in the world. As the rivalry unfolded, both were making changes and adding height during the construction of both buildings. Remarkably, the 927-foot structure with more than 1 million square feet of rentable space was completed in just 11 months. The Chrysler Building, with its Art Deco-inspired sparkling sunburst tower and highly decorative lobby, is one of the most loved structures in the New York skyline. William Van Allen was hired by Walter Chrysler to design him the tallest building in the world. Just 4 months after 40 Wall Street won the title, Van Allen and Chrysler shocked the world and revealed a spire built secretly inside the building that took the Chrysler Building to a height of 1,048 feet. The Chrysler Building beat 40 Wall Street to become the world's tallest building, and the Eiffel Tower as the world's tallest structure. The race between 40 Wall Street and the Chrysler Building, and their constant arguing over who really won the race at all, became moot when the Empire State Building took the title as the world's tallest structure in 1931, at 1,250 feet, holding on to the honor for the next 40 years, until the construction of the World Trade Center in the late 1970s. It held the title as the world's tallest building again for a short time after the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001. Designed in the Art Deco style by William F. Lamb from the architectural firm Shreve, Lamb & Harmon, the building is one of America's most cherished structures, designated as a national landmark in the 1980s. The building was conceived and completed in record time. Using another building as a basis, Lamb finished the blueprints in just a few weeks. The building construction took a mere 410 days, with rumors that while the riveters bolted the steel beams together, they were still hot from the foundry in which they were made. In 1960, structural engineer Fazlur Khan of Chicago realized that the steel skeleton frame concept that had dominated skyscraper construction for decades was no longer the only solution. His innovation was the idea of the tube structural system, which were much more economically efficient and allowed skyscrapers to break outside the box and take on other shapes. In a tube structural system, to resist lateral loads from wind, seismic activity, or impact from objects, a building is designed to act like a hollow cylinder, cantilevered perpendicular to the ground. A cantilever is a horizontal structure that sticks out of something else, like a shelf in your closet or a branch on a tree. The first building to use the tube structural system was the 43-story DeWitt Chestnut building designed by Kahn in 1963. This change in the approach to skyscraper construction brought about the second Chicago school, which was also based on the modernist principles of Mies van der Rohe. A new generation of skyscrapers was set to begin. The birth of skyscrapers is proof of human technological and economic advancement, and that design is a direct reflection of culture. Additional space was required to house the growing number of businesses, and thanks to achievement during the Industrial Revolution, we now had the means to build such buildings. It is important to note that while skyscrapers have served a utilitarian purpose, they have also served to define the identity of a city through the development of a strong and distinct skyline.